He said, just scared the shit out of me, and I shut it down. Don't let that happen. Don't let it happen. Be courageous. You know? Oh, God. One gift at a time, I guess, because I'm having such a good time here. And at the same time, you can see I'm pumping a lot of energy into this thing. It's probably 2 o'clock in the morning, and I got to be up at 6. But that's okay, because we're here. And this is the first. It actually isn't. I did one 2 years ago. It was real short, basically the same, the first little bit I talked about. So let's talk about some things. Since I got a little bit of energy left, I want to talk about this notion of you being a partition being. Some of you got all kinds of difficulties with voices. Parts of you are pissed off at yourself, you're pissed off at your mother, this is constantly going on. So what you need to understand is that's just the way it is. Just the way it is. It's meant to be that way. Your brain is so sophisticated. Now, here, best example is when you're a kid. Remember I was saying in the beginning, there's adults out there that haven't changed in 50 years? Kids change every couple, 3 weeks. And when they're younger, even more. Each new discovery that enables you makes you more. So most of you remember the first time you got a moving thing. It's usually a bicycle. Holy Christ. If you've never ridden a bicycle in that environment, too bad. Because a bicycle extends your range. I can remember I was a little guy on a 14-inch bike, and I was going 50 miles. And I lived in Chicago. It was a badass city. No fear, you know. And I went west because they had some hills that were really spectacular for going downhill. Real tough climb up because we had regular bikes, no gears. Try and understand that the conflict in your mind is a part of 2 things. Number 1, unresolved issues from your past. And number 2, shit skills. So you got them just running around up there. And either you're in depression, you're taking antidepressants, you're doing the best drugs that money can buy, and there's some wonderful stuff out there. And if you're on that journey, don't be pissed off at yourself. Just understand what it is. And see if there might be a place where you can soften. Wean yourself, so to speak. Because a lot of you used to, I know people, those babies are blasted from the moment they get up to the moment they go to bed. And they're still functional. And they're wonderful people. But they don't have a lot of idea what's going on. They don't need to, they're happy. At least part of them. So, here's a world where some people are absolutely living in heaven, and other people don't have anything. And worse, they live in environments where there are marauding bands of really nasty bastards who make their life even more hell than it already is because of poverty and all the things that are out there. Can we solve that? Yeah. Easily? No. But resolutely, quickly. We just need to get some resolve. Stop pissing away gazillions of dollars on useless military shit. You know, all you world leaders out there, you ought to get off your ass and sit down and start talking to each other more seriously than you are. Because they're doing it now. This is a wonderful... See, this is the time. Trump is beating the bushes down, but he's making people talk because he's a loose cannon. Nobody's sure what the hell he's going to do. I don't listen to all the crap that goes on, you know, tweets and twits and all the rest of that crap. But you can see what's going on in the world. The North Korean guy, man, he's a house. Don't just because he doesn't strike you as a big time ass kicker. This is a powerful man. And I wonder if, remember I said in the beginning, it's all God? The damn thing's working itself out. Oh, one thing. He's put himself in such a magnificent, he's killed his country to do it. One of my favorite pictures of the blight of certain places in the world is a picture of the whole world at 10 o'clock that was taken from satellite several years ago. I had one once and it got destroyed, I don't know how. But it showed all the countries, the whole world on a panorama, a horizontal panorama. And it was 10 o'clock. And you could see all the places where there was light. And then when you got to the Korean Peninsula, you could see that the tip, South Korea, was brilliantly lit, almost as much, not as much as Japan, which was brilliantly lit. Almost no light coming out of North Korea. And I thought to myself when I saw that, God, those poor people. And that poor guy, he's a dynasty, and it's 3 generations there. His parents understood. Korea is just a disadvantaged people in a position there between all these warring nations. Little tiny country. I think they got like 2 million men on their arms. It's not a big nation. But what he did was he put himself in a position where now he can broker the whole area for peace. Sir, if you listen to stuff like this, or if anybody ever tells you about stuff like this, what you ought to do is just sell all of your nuclear weapons to the West and to China and to Russia. Sell them evenly. Get gazillions of dollars, reward your people for all their suffering, and diffuse the area. Every time I see us building another gigantic warship, I just think to myself, God, you know how many people you could feed? How many people could be provided with medical care? How much education could be generated? How many roads could be generated? If you build roads, you generate jobs. How can you generate jobs when it's going into the military? But that's what it is. Your job is to do what you can. Here's a job for some of you are going to say, oh, it's crap, I can't do anything. I'm old or I'm hurt and I'm this and I'm that and I can't do it. So I'm going to ask you to do this. And it'll help save the post office. Because the post office is a wonderful thing. It's been forever and it needs to continue to stay. Because as much as we're infatuated with the digital world, it's got all kinds of holes. Your system crashes, everything's gone, and has no personal touch. You can't get away from the personal touch, guys. It's what enriches you, the vibration of one heart. And it doesn't mean you got to be intimate. It just means you got to be close. You got to have that feeling. Some of you are so isolated. Please go out. Go out. Find a community center that'll work for you. Find a bunch of crazy people who will take you in. Doesn't matter. Get some love in your life. I'm probably going to irritate a lot of people. I'm a firm believer in sexuality. Except for a very, very small, teeny little percentage of the population, none of you get laid enough. Some of you haven't been intimate with anybody. Some of you haven't been intimate with anybody, and you're a big kid now. Wow. If I prayed, I'd pray for you guys. The world we live in has so much pain. Be nice to each other. I'm going to teach you a couple quick things and then I think we'll be done for tonight. You need to have a way to give yourself a shot of joy. This is actually pretty slick. It's pretty slick. So I can tell you about my masters, okay? I consider that I've had 5 master teachers. Jesus, because I was born into a Catholic family and raised Catholic. And I was even an altar boy for a couple of weeks till I got in a fight and really destroyed this kid. They decided altar boys shouldn't be doing that stuff, so out I was. My father, for his anger, his rage, and his violence, and for actually being nasty enough to cause me to run away from home when I was 16, because I was tired of getting smacked around. And my grandmother, who loved me as much as anybody could, but still regularly beat me with change and a stick to try and keep me down. Kids like me are tough to deal with. And then God sent me Ken Kais Jr. He wrote the Handbook to Higher Consciousness. That is, if I said, Bhagwan, would you tell me one book that I should read if I just didn't like to read? Yeah, Handbook to Higher Consciousness, Ken Kais Jr. In my opinion, single most important book in the world. Well, why, Bhagwan? Well, because it teaches you how to live your life in peace and harmony, regardless of what's going on with you. See, a lot of you guys think you're the only one's got shit in your life. Everybody's got it. No, maybe not. I'm sure there's some people out there that are so completely embraced by the wonder of this divine place that they don't have. I remember when a 27-year-old woman comes up to me one time. She says, "Oh, Bhagwan, I feel so bad sometimes." I said, "What's wrong?" She says, "I've never had any pain in my life. Everybody I know is still alive. Everybody's healthy. My parents had money. I got 3,814 friends." Wow. Don't feel bad about that. Be blessed. Understand it. You must be someone God loves a lot to put you in that kind of station. Doesn't mean God loves you any less if you're shit. If everything around you is shit every time you turn around, and all you can do is smell it and taste it and feel it. It's just a test. Some of you guys with your faces in the gutter, one day you're going to either die or have a revelation and say, "Oh, I don't have to do this anymore. I've learned everything that the gutter could teach me." That's what happened to me in the Marine Corps. I was a lifer. God, I loved it. Playing the game, be a soldier, you know. And I come from a wartime. I was born during the Second World War in Korea. Saw the soldiers coming home, the heroes and all that stuff. And my dad was gone, so you just decide that's going on. And then when you find yourself at 17, you on the street, what are you going to do? 16 actually, but I had to wait till I was 17 to go in. So I went in for 4 years and just re-enlisted, no doubt about it, 6 years. During my 7th year, I had an epiphany, and I said it was time to go. Of course, I had to wait 3 years because I had a full obligation. Went to war, a couple of other things. All those things absolutely necessary to get me to today. Because one of the greatest sources of this wonderful energy that's going to turn the world around is the warriors out there, especially all you poor babies who are wounded and beat up and suffering the things that you experienced and so on. So here, let me tell you some stuff. This is really important if you're a warrior. And that experience has hurt you. Let me share this with you. Absolutely necessary to get you to today. Today is the day that the world should decide that all war is stupid and we're going to stop it. See, we're in a really, because there's not enough of it going on to sustain unless we sustain it. Got all these little Mickey Mouse wars. The United Nations, which is a wonderful organization, by the way, guys. That's one of our futures is having the United Nations become the, I don't like the word order keeper, but maybe that's an appropriate word. We're a lot of people. You can't have lunatics running around killing people because it seems like Thursday ain't a good idea. Or they've got a different view of the way the world should be or is. It's just nonsense. So somebody's got to stop it. And because we do everything based on what's going on in our house, we don't reach out enough with our consciousness to what's going on in the other guy's house. And that may not be fair to a lot of people, but it's the way it's perceived by we